Hey out there folks, it's Dave from Davestation VR, and today we're talking about a game called Transference for PSVR. This game is a deeply unsettling look into the mind of a scientist who's intent on transferring his memories and his experiences into reproducible data files using these weird crystals. It's pretty crazy. It's terrifying in some segments, and it's a psychological thriller through and through. While it occasionally does rely on some jump scares, it constantly keeps you on edge by subtly changing the world around you between those major scares. So if you just opened a door a minute ago, you don't know what's going to be behind the door the next time you open it. It's always keeping you off guard, and really just does a great job of keeping the tension throughout. It takes place mostly in one apartment, but like I mentioned, the environment is constantly shifting, so you'll see different versions of each room as you play through, and it never really gets stale. These are some of the best graphics I've ever seen on the PSVR. I played on Pro, but I assume it's pretty good on the OG as well. And some of the effects they have going on here, like the glitches at the edges of the screen and various particle effects going on, it's a really well put together experience. And there's some stuff that will freak you out, I swear. And on top of that, the sound design is just impeccable. This is some of the best audio design I've ever heard in a game, honestly. There's just this like constantly shifting mass of disembodied voices, fleeting memories of trauma bubbling up under the surface, low growls, electrical hums. You don't even know what's going on, but it's just unsettling, and it gets you in this headspace that really works. This comes from a company called Spectre Vision, which was partially founded by a guy you might have heard of named Elijah Wood. And along those lines, the voice acting and the live-acted scenes are really up to the level of quality you'd expect for people with a background in film. And they don't just do games, they also do movies. They recently released something called Mandy, which I've heard great things about, and seems similarly dark and fucked up and awesome, you know? I suppose I ought to stop gushing and talk about the gameplay itself, which is basically a series of puzzles that involve either finding the right item or cracking a code to progress, and they're not going to be too difficult. There's a couple hang-ups, but they don't really kill the momentum too much. As you're going through, you're also going to be able to find pickups that unlock additional video logs that you can view afterwards. And that adds a little bit of depth to the story if you want to watch those, and it gives you a reason to replay it if that's something you're into. The only real downside that I have to report is that the game is about 2 hours long, so it's kind of on the short side, and I really just wanted more of it. But what's there is so well done, so polished, and I had a really great time with it. It scared the shit out of me. It made me feel deeply weird, and I really love it. So it is going to be $25 for a game that lasts about 2 hours, but even at that price, I think it's something worth picking up. If that's a little too steep for you, definitely pick it up if it's ever on sale, because I think this is one that is one of my favorite experiences on PSVR so far. That's going to wrap it up for my Transference review. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed this, please leave me a like or a comment or a subscribe, the whole standard YouTube thing. And I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day.